You ever wonder what happens when a black lesbian decides to put on a badge and kick down doors that were never built for her in the first place? Stick around because I'm about to spill all the tea on how I ended up wearing blue. Welcome to Unorganized Chaos. I am the evangelist of entertainment. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing, turn on that notification button. Thank you so much for subscribing. I love you. I appreciate you. I thank God for you. As you come in, please put in the chat where you're watching from. I really appreciate you. I really do. God knows I do. I really appreciate you. How I became a black lesbian, ended up wearing blue. I am proof that my identity is my power. I am the living example that a black lesbian can wear the badge, break the mold, and inspire others to claim their place boldly and unapologetically. Now, the reason I'm doing this live stream on how I end up wearing the blue because I have gotten several people who have asked me um, why did I decide to become a police officer. My original answer was I don't know. I just needed a job. I don't know. But as I started to deep dive and look within, I think I wanted growing up. I never, not that I recall, never um, seen a positive example of a black female lesbian in a positive light. Um, so I think I wanted to be visible and to be seen for any young woman out there who felt invisible or ashamed of who they are. I also wanted to help people. I really did. I really said, well, this is a great way to help people. Now, that's why I wanted to become a police officer. The truth is, after I became a police officer, it came a point where my spirit was broken and I no longer had the spirit to do it. Um, at this particular police department where I was at, we had a chief who was a liar, um, who wrote me up a write up that was not true and told me if I did not sign it, I would be terminated. Um, that's the truth. And one of my heroes is a former code enforcement officer at the police department I used to work at. One of my heroes, uh, the lion in chief of police, also told the truth. He stripped down, butt naked, took his uniform off, and quit on the spot. And I had a conversation with him. Uh, Bless his heart, but he's my hero because he had the courage to do what I didn't. Um, I was afraid of losing my job. He didn't care. I admire him. He's my hero because of his faith of how he handled the situation. I don't know if he handled the situation right or wrong. No judgment here. Um, that's the way he's decided to handle it. But uh, and I've heard other stories from other people uh, about the lion chief that they decided to have at this particular police department. Um, but anyways, so being told that if I didn't sign a write up, that was not true, that I was going to lose my job. And then I found out another person there, he did the same thing to me. This individual also refused to sign. All right, but I signed mine. I didn't. And so I felt like I didn't hold. Now he's responsible for his actions, what he do, and all that stuff like that. Uh, but I felt like I felt weak. It just broke my spirit. So from that point on, now it's like I'm showing up, coming to work, do my job, clock in, clock out, go home. So that really broke my, because I felt like, okay, now if the lion in chief gonna do this, then even if I had a complaint or anything about how any other officer is gonna act, I have no covering. None at all. Who am I gonna go to? Someone I can't trust? I mean, so that was an unfortunate event, and uh, it is my, I'm trying not responsibility, but it is my duty to not allow what others have did to me or have said to me affect me. I can't make a decision based on what they did. I'm trying to work this right. I don't know how. I'm only responsible for my actions or how I react to them. But after that, I had absolutely no respect for this line and chief. Still don't have any respect for him. I heard he was selling houses. I wouldn't buy free water from him. If he's selling the house and you bought a house from him, get your receipt, ask for a refund. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just something I heard. But which brings me to another, and I wasn't even up here to talk about this line in chief, but comment. Which brings me to another point. If he is selling houses, when I was a police officer, he flipped a house, had us doing house checks on it, sold the house. Then my hero, he wanted to do the same thing, and this line in chief told him he could not do it because he worked for the city. So who was the line in chief working for when he bought the house, flipped the house, and sold it, and had us doing the house checks on a home that he owned to sell? So, but he's my hero. The other officer that was able to stand up to the liar in chief. But okay, enough about him. Don't want that energy. Got that. But that's true story about how I decided to become a cop. Um, Being a cop, and then after becoming a cop, my spirit was immediately broken. This happened like a year or two after. And then I was re-victimized. My car was broken into. So much stuff happened that literally broke my spirit. I can see why morale is low. When morale is low at um, your place of employment, I believe HR should step in and figure out, okay, why we can't keep nobody? There's no accountability. I didn't see it when I was there. This liar in chief being held accountable for absolutely nothing. I didn't see it when I was there. It seemed to me the way I was saying that he was the decision maker for everything. So there was no accountability. But it seemed like to me, if you have people constantly quitting, somebody from HR or somebody that got some type of sense should step in and be like, okay, why are people quitting? Why is morale low? And a lot of people probably ain't going to say nothing while they're still working there because they want to keep their jobs because retaliation is real. Retaliation is real. But yeah, I think that should do a deep dive and do a reverse evaluation. Like the supervisors evaluate the employees, give the employees a form, let them evaluate the supervisors anonymously. So the supervisor won't have the opportunity to retaliate against their subordinates and just hand it over to HR and don't even allow the supervisor to see what it is that their subordinates are saying about it. If you keep getting the same constant complaints or compliments um, from different people about the same supervisor, seem like to me, you know, somebody should take a deeper a look and a deep dive into what's going on. But so that was unfortunate. My spirit was broken. It really was. And then it was just a series of events that kept happening, continuing to happen. So I just had to look. I'm just here. I remember being on calls and seriously just like, all right. I just had to like, okay, whatever. I'm getting paid, so I just remember doing it. And then, of course, they didn't have a quota, but you had to do 2 citations per shift. But they didn't have a quota. I don't know how they get by with not having a quota, but I don't know. I don't care. But it's a lot of things that just broke my spirit from becoming a police officer. And I wish I was stronger, more in shape for the job. Definitely more in shape. I was a fat police officer. Still fat. I think I'm bigger now. I don't know. But I am no longer a police officer. I don't want anybody to look at this and say, oh, she impersonating the police officer. No, I'm no longer a police. I'm just doing this to answer questions that I have been getting through my email, which is in the description. And since I've been doing this, is therapy for me, doing this. Uh, so, anyway, But how a black lesbian ended up wearing blue. That's how I ended up wearing blue. I worked for another um, agency shortly before the other agency, but and then I had opportunities to work for other agencies while I was at the agency, but it wasn't no lateral uh, transfer. So I was like, I'm not about to start all over in years and in rank. So yeah. So but how a black lesbian end up wearing well how this black lesbian. But let's now after I said all that, let's turn, if you will, to Esther 4 and 14. There within you will find these words, and who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. I hope I helped somebody along the way when I was wearing the blue. I hope I helped somebody. Now I did a lot of stuff for people, and I would never tell what I did. And I'm not the only officer who's done because I've seen others. I remember I'm so proud of my shift. I remember once I was out for some reason. I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway, when I came back, they told me what they had did for a family, and I was proud of them. I really was. But at that, and I wanted to give them some money, but at that time I had none extra to give because I had to help. I think one of my kids or something get some tires or something. I can't remember. But so there are a lot of caring and police officers out there, and a lot of good police officers, and there are a lot of good white police officers. I know a lot of people think white police officers are um, because of the news that they're bad. But I mean, there are some bad white police officers, some bad black police officers. But I've seen some um, white police officers do some wonderful things. Um, okay, that's the 414. Who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this. Maybe I put on that badge for such a time as this to stand in the gap and be the example I never saw. Yes, I believe it was God driven, purpose driven. There was a reason I wore that badge for 13 years. I feel like I was robbed of 7 of those years. That's just how I feel. But uh, Sister Outsider, Audrey Lord, when I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of any vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid. I like that. When you dare to be powerful and you use your strength in service, you use the strength. Now, you might not be physically strong, but you may be mentally strong or strong in a different area, strength in a way, or you might be strong in de escalation skills. And if you're strong in de escalation skills and are able to use that in service for a greater vision, you being afraid or not is less and less important. You don't care about that fear. That fear goes away or goes aside, or your fear start to hide behind your faith. And your faith is so big you can't see the fear hiding under it. Because your act of service and the vision you have behind that service becomes so powerful that your fear is no longer important. Let me recommend a great movie to you called The Great Debaters. In The Great Debaters, I knew somebody had to stand up and show what was possible, even when the world said it wasn't ready to see it. The world probably wasn't ready to see me as a black lesbian woman in a uniform. I don't know. Personally, on my job, I think I've had the whole 13 years, I can only remember one civilian. Now, I don't know how, well, I can't remember. I can't say I don't know. I can't remember any other police officers when out there had any issues with me being a lesbian. If anything, I think they was more curious or wanted to know. The ones who probably had an issue and they just never said nothing to me. I never felt that I can recall anybody saying anything to me directly about me being a lesbian. Besides, cop talk about inappropriate things that some people call inappropriate about being a lesbian, but which wasn't no bother to me at all. But I think one civilian was like, "So you out here a lesbian?" I think I was at a dollar store or something, getting a bottle of water or something. I can't remember. Somebody came, it was a civilian. I can't even remember what. So I think it was a black male too. It was like, "Oh, so you out here wearing blue and the whole lesbian on your way to hell." So have a good day, sir. That's all I said and kept on going. I just didn't have the energy to entertain that. Sometimes you just had the energy. And then after my spirits broke, I didn't have the energy to care about absolutely nothing. That just broke my spirit with the liar in chief at that time did. But when I was there, I did. As far as I know, I did my job. I don't recall ever receiving a bad evaluation. Uh, Not that I recall. Uh, some things have come up since I've left there. I was like, wow, it's amazing. People can say make up stuff. Like, what? But, all I'm going to say, look, listen to this closely. And can you hear me? Tell your neighbor, say documentation beats conversation. Tell your neighbor that. No, that's the wrong neighbor. Go to the other neighbor and say documentation beats conversation. Okay? So when somebody tells you or somebody send you to a doctor and then tell you that the doctor has never seen you before, documentation beats conversation. Okay? It's just a side note. Throw that out there. God is good. Golden by Jill Scott. I'm taking my freedom, putting it in my stroll, in my police stroll. I take golden from Jill Scott with me. Living my life like it's golden. When I put on that badge, I wasn't just clocking in. Yes, I was. I was living my life like it's golden. Even in a uniform, folks never expected to see me to wear. Yeah, I'm sure that's probably true. Some people probably never expected to see me in uniform. If I didn't define myself for myself, I would be crushed into other people's fantasies for me and eaten alive. Yeah, I wrote that. I really believe that. You know, I have to define myself for myself instead of allowing anybody else to define me. And to me, I don't like to define myself because I feel like God is undefinable. People say, define God. Who is God? God is all there is. That's my perfect definition. Somebody asked me who God. I mean, God is love. Love is God. You can't separate the two. That's tried, true, and true. And I really believe that. That is found to be true and accurate. But God is all there is in the totality of everything. Nothing can exist outside of God. So God is everything that there is. God is all there is. Outside of God, nothing else exists. Um, Audre Lorde, I loved her quotes. Get her, but if I didn't define myself for myself, I'd be crushed into other people's fantasies and eaten alive. So I choose to define myself in blue with my own truth stitched right into the uniform. At that season in my life, I decided to define myself in blue by wearing the badge. That was for a season. God is good. Let me say a prayer for the path less traveled. Holy Creator, I thank you for the strength you planted in me, for the vision to walk into spaces where my flexion was rarely seen. Thank you for the courage to put on a uniform that did not always feel built for me, for the conviction to serve with compassion and to be a light in the shadows. Bless every step I have taken, every person I have helped, every barrier I have broken. Remind me that my identity is no accident. It is your design, that my purpose is no mistake. It is your calling. When I am weary, renew my spirit. When I feel unseen, remind me you see me fully. When I am doubted, anchor me in the truth that I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Let my journey be a testament that a Black lesbian can wear blue, can stand with integrity, can love boldly, and can inspire generations to rise. Amen. So, for all of my rainbow people who are wearing the blue, hope this encourages you um, to continue. If that's what you choose to do, I respect you. Um, I have a friend. She works for a county in the Atlanta, Georgia area, who also identifies as a Black lesbian. The stories I hear from her, I was like, well, I admire her. She has to stick it to itness is what I call it. She's sticking to it, sticking through it, and all of this stuff. When I listen to her stories about how she felt she's been treated differently, it's heartbreaking, but it's so believable at the same time based on what I have personally seen and personally have heard at the agency I worked for and other agencies, um, from people I know at other agencies. So um, I don't know why it's the way it is. Oh, I don't know. At this point in my life, I don't want to say I don't give a damnness or I don't have the cares. It's just like, look, I'm just here. The rest of my life is therapy for me. I take my therapy seriously. Actually, today is Monday. I just got finished with one of my group therapy sessions. And I decided to come on here and talk because this is also therapeutic. Um, just to answer the question that people keep asking me of why did I decided to become the Popo? So there's many reasons why. So I don't think I would ever have a question. I mean, a answer in the that will like answer that question fully the way my heart and mind feels it. So I can only answer it based on how I'm seeing it right now. If you ask me the same thing a year from now, my answer might be different. Um, to be honest, for some people who have asked me why did I ever decide to come to cop, and I've said I don't know. And most of the times because I just didn't care and I just didn't want to engage in a conversation, anything related to being a police officer. I was at a point where that is my time, my past. I don't want anything to do with it. Then I decided to, like, you know what? I can't erase that because that's a part of my story. That's a chapter in my book. And plus, in this year, it's 2025. What is this, June 30th? 6 months into this year, for some reason, I don't know why it is, there's been an increase in people reaching out to me about citations and asking me questions. And I have not written, seen, or saw a citation since 2021, I think. Can't remember. Um, I think it was 2021. I don't know. Anyway, so and I would say, look, I wouldn't even try to help them, even though I knew I had the information. Which brings me to something. Tell me if I'm right or if I'm right. I have a friend. I don't know if this person's a friend, but I have someone I know. Let's just put it there. I have someone that I know. Now, I needed some information from this person. And I knew this person knew the answer. And I knew this person read the text that I sent to this person for the information. The person did not text back. So I responded again. And the person said, it has not been even 24 hours. Give me at least 24 hours. I'm like, I don't understand why I have to wait 24 hours for a simple answer to a question that I know that you already have the answer to. But that's the way that person has chosen to communicate with me for whatever reason. So I'm like, okay, let's just make this easy. So now I'm in the process of putting myself in a position where I don't have to worry about trying to communicate with someone who's asking me to give them 24 hours to answer a question that I know that they have the answer to. It just ain't making sense to me. So that's what God bless them. I wish them the best of this I do. But I just want to get the hell on and like, look, go do you, boo boo. Please be happy and in good health and in good wealth, prosper in every area of your life. But I'm to the point like, leave me alone. I leave you alone. God bless you. This is just ridiculous. But have you ever been just minding your own business and you're serious? And someone hits you with that question so imperial. Why'd you want to be the police? Why'd you suit up blue? Let me tell you a thing or two. Now I could give you a fancy speech, real polished and clean, like I wish to protect and serve. I don't think that has ever been my answer to anybody who's asked me if I want to be a cop that I want to protect and serve. That has not been my answer ever. Okay, I just woke up one day and said I wanted to protect and serve. That's not my story. Maybe that's somebody else's story, somebody else's truth. I can say I did want to help people. I still want to help people. You know, right now I'm hurting, so I don't want to help people out of hurt. I believe hurt people hurt people, but I also believe that hurt people can still help people by not hurting them. Hurt people, but hurt people can also help people by choosing not to hurt them. If I know that I'm still in a situation mentally where I'm hurting from a particular situation, I'm not going to engage or get involved with someone who's in that situation. And because I'm hurting, end up hurting them. Instead, I'm choosing to decide to help them by not giving them my hurt. So hurt people don't have to hurt people. Hurt people can also help people by not hurting them. Okay? Let that bless you. But honestly, my truth isn't dressed up in a cute little bow. I was a little queer black girl who just wanted folks to know that you can be the law and be soft and be proud, that you can wear the badge and still stand out in a crowd. I didn't see black lesbians rocking the uniform scene, so I thought, hey, maybe I'll be the rep I never seen. Was it about the badge or the shiny patrol car? Or the fire or the free coffee or the coupons at the corner quit mark? I didn't drink coffee. I don't like coffee. Uh, but I like the free water. Yeah, but water's free. You know, we had free water at the gas station. I mean, at the precinct. Yeah. Maybe I just like the hat. Who knows? Maybe it was fate. Maybe God said, girl, here's your chance to clean up this state. I wanted to help people. Yeah, cliche, but true. That is the truth. Um, I wanted to break barriers and stereotypes too. I thought maybe my presence could heal a little pain, make some grandma smile when she heard my name. Now, I was told, this guy, I arrested him. I can't remember why, but I remember him telling me, he said, I've been arrested several times. He said, out of all the times I've been arrested, you are the nicest officer who's ever arrested me. Those are his exact words, true statement. And I was looking at him like, well, sir, I don't know how to take that because I don't think you should be boasting about how many times you've been arrested. He's like, yeah, I know, but it's a compliment. Just take the compliment. I said, okay, thank you, sir. I pray that every officer um, treats you nice. The, if they have to arrest you, there's no reason to, just like APD dealing with allegedly pulling some lady out the bed, putting her in handcuffs, topless. She in handcuffs in the back seat of a patrol car with no top on, with no shirt on. That it doesn't make sense. Be nice. Be a kind cop, a good cop, whatever they call it. There's nothing wrong with that. If anything, please use de-escalation skills. There's no reason I can think of why a SWAT team would raid a house allegedly with one female in there by herself allegedly and then hurry up and rush her out the house. Was the house on fire? Why was there a need to rush out the house so fast where she didn't have time to put on a shirt? I don't know. To be honest, it's like I'm so bad. I'm so tempted to say I don't care because I do care. When I first read that story, it was only I had to read it from three different sources. I literally did read it for three different news articles. I'm like, you kidding me? Because they said she was in the back seat for hours with no shirt on. And then a masked officer, they believe, took a picture of her. I'm like, wow. Wonderful de-escalation techniques. Yeah, I want to help people. Cliche but true. I wanted to break barriers and stereotypes too. I thought maybe my presence here in little pain made some grandma she heard my name. And I know I've done that. When I was a cop, I did get feedback, mostly from the minority community and the place I worked. And it's like, when you got that call, I'm so glad to see you because that other officer. And it was like, yeah, just pray for him. I would say some cliche. I would try my best not to say anything to the citizens. Now, to other police officers, yeah, we would all do that. We would all talk about police officers, other police officers. Even the police officers that I was working with, um, it was a trip. Yeah, we were. So I know they was talking about me because we was. How I see it, if you feel comfortable talking to me about other police officers, the chief or whatnot, and then I know that you feel comfortable talking to other officers about me. That's how I saw it. So, and I didn't. It wasn't a big deal for me. I wasn't that sensitive. I was just it's like, okay, I don't care. Even though I know I see my coworkers more than you see your family when you work in 12-hour shifts, 3-2-2-3. So, but at the end of the day, I was like, look, the people who are really important to me are the people I'm trying my best to get home to every morning after working this night shift. So, yeah, y'all say what y'all want to say in front of my back, behind my back, whatever. And it's sad to me as I'm sitting here thinking about it. But it was like I was just there. And I remember when I first came, to me, in my opinion, I don't know what any other officer who worked with me was saying. In my opinion, I feel like when I first started, I had the spirit for it. I wanted to do the warrants and search warrants and citations and the rest. I was doing all of the things. But after that line of chief incident, I was just like, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about that. But let's keep it real. Like a fresh press shirt, I also like job security. No one likes the hurt of them bills stacking up like Tetris blocks. So I raised my right hand and punched that time clock. And let's not forget, I wanted to be strong, prove that a black lesbian could belong all alone. That you can wear hair waves under that cap. You know what? I had true story. Now y'all tell me if I'm right or if am I right. At one season in my life, I decided to get a mohawk. I don't know why, but I came to work with a mohawk. And I was told that my mohawk was not a natural haircut. I literally looked up natural hair because I was trying to find out in my mind, getting a haircut itself is not natural. There's no such thing. True story. As a natural haircut. I was like, who came up with this foolishness? Y'all know who did. Came up with that foolishness. But to this day, if you can tell me what a natural haircut is, please put it in the comments. I want to know. But there is no such thing as a natural haircut. Human beings, animals, whoever you are, it is not natural to get a haircut. But we do it for grooming preferences. Mm-hmm. Don't mean that I can wear them on because it wasn't a natural haircut. Wow. Okay, well your fade or your whatever, ponytail, or your bald head isn't a natural haircut. I mean, make it make sense. Y'all let me know if I'm right or if I'm right in the chat. So why did I do it? I still don't fully know. That's the truth. That's what I still don't fully know. Some days I felt fierce, and some days I felt low. I think my depression started after that line in chief incident. Because some days I did feel low. I would just be sitting in my car like, okay, what time is it? I was looking around. When your spirit is, when someone kills your spirit, and the person that kills your spirit is the person who's literally supposed to be serving the people who are serving the citizens, it's like all hope is lost as far as the career element. And I just remember thinking, okay, I don't care. I remember thinking that. Now, am I right or right about that? Now, like I said, I would do my job, do whatever my supervisor told me to do. I would do my job. It really was. And that's what I did. Whenever they needed extra help, dispatch, um, evidence, CID, the court services, I never said no or went the other way or said get somebody else. I was the sergeant and still helping. Now, I know sergeants who would not have done nothing. Matter of fact, we had a sergeant there when I was working, and officers would say, the thumbtack on my desk does more work than this sergeant that's here that's retired on duty. Yeah, other people talking about him all day and stuff like that. Now maybe he had some hurt, or maybe he had that he didn't give the effortness. I don't know what his story is, but it comes to a point where it's like whatever. So I am grateful and thankful for those officers who's out there doing the job better than I ever did or I ever could. Um, I hope when I was an officer that I did make a difference in someone's life by doing something. And I'll apologize if I did something to a citizen. I don't recall ever doing anything. That's just not my nature, even not as a cop. I don't go around talking about people doing something. So sometimes some people can tell you, you know what, people who really know you, when people say that you've done something, people who really know you be like, no, they ain't free. She didn't do that. She didn't say that. And I'm grateful for those people because I remember hearing the story so wild I can't remember. I really can't remember. I wish I could remember, but yeah, I was on duty, and this other officer came to me and said, "Hey, this person said you did such and such," but I knew once they said it was you that you didn't do that, and I was like, "What in the world?" I was like, "I would never do that, especially to a citizen." And then I told the person that too, and I said, "Go to that citizen, tell them to fill out a complaint on me." I sure did. I said, if I did that, tell them to please, I would help them fill out the complaint. Right, that's something that I would never do or never say. I know who I am, what I am, or what I've said or done, or but people who know you, not even as a police officer, but in just regular life, uh, people who know you. Like I have a great friend, a wonderful friend. Now, if you was to come to me and tell me that my friend cussed you out and told me which one it was, I'll say, yeah, that's her. That's about right. Yep, that's her. She did it. Now I have another friend. If you was to come to tell me that she cussed you out, I'd be like, hold up. I've known this friend for over 25 years. I've never heard her say a curse word. I mean, I never even heard her say doggone it or darn or anything remotely close to one. So people that know you, no matter what anything anybody say. or do. They know you. Somebody can tell them anything. And sometimes people come, and I was to the point. Now, this is not police related stuff right here, but um, I'm to the point now. I had somebody call me a while ago. They only heard one side of the story. Now, this person did this before years ago, called me and cussed me out or went off on me for something. I was like, okay. The second and the first time, shame on you. The second time, shame on me. So, now that was years ago. So recently, this year, the same person called me, still only knowing one side of the story. Did not have my side of the story and told me that they had a weapon. I listened. But this time I said, would you like to hear my side of the story? And I told them my side of the story, their whole energy shifted. They calmed all the way down. Now, I wish this person well. I really do. This person is a great person, great spirit. But second time, shame on me. I said this will never happen again. Somebody tell your name it. Block is a blessing. Yeah. What they call it on the phone. Yeah, block. Same thing on social media, right? Block is a blessing. Yeah, no, tell your other neighbor. You told the wrong name. Tell your other neighbor that block is a blessing. I don't want anything to disturb my peace. I am good. Okay? I am good. I'm to the point now, I'd rather be homeless under a bridge before I have to go back and deal with people who are not able to communicate. And please learn the difference between manipulation, gaslight, tough love, relationship, or manipulationship. Please learn the difference. If you are making all of the changes to be in a relationship and the person relationship where is not making any changes, but they're constantly telling you what you need to do or not do, and they're not doing the thing that you would like them to do or not do, or if they're making you see or look at someone else differently. Now you know me. People who know me, they know me. Okay, okay, you just don't know her. That's why you see it that way. But that's not free. Free is not like that. So I can see why you see it that way. But because I know Free and have known her for years, this is not what she meant, or you took it wrong. But no, if you're not willing to say, you know what, see Free however you want to see Free. Just do it that way. I don't care anymore. See me however you feel is best for you to see me, for you to feel better, however you want to treat me or communicate with me or not communicate with me. Whatever is good for you, God bless you. Have a good day, good night. I wish you the best. Okay. Every time the kids saw me walk through that door, I prayed they'd feel safer than they did before. That's true. If I walked through the door and saw a child in a vulnerable situation, children and elderly people who cannot defend themselves, is who my heart went out to the most. And I hope, I pray that I made a child feel safer than they did before. And that's true. That is so true. I'm thinking about some incidents, but they're very sensitive, so I don't want to talk about it. Uh, but I know I have made children feel safer because I called the right people, took the appropriate steps to make sure that what happened to them or the situation they was in would never be that way again, as much as I could do to the best of my ability. I didn't have role models who looked like me, so I thought, why not become what I needed to see? And sure, sometimes folks were mad I wore that vest, but I showed up authentic, flawed, but blessed. You know, I don't understand black people. And I love my beautiful black people, especially my beautiful brown skinned sisters. Love black people. When I was in, oh, let me tell you the first thing I understand. My very first complaint, true story, my very first complaint was from an African American male teacher. He was a teacher. He wrote a complaint on me for stopping him for running a stop sign, and literally put on a complaint that I put. Only reason why I pulled him over because he was black. I was like, wow. My supervisor literally was set me down. He said, "Do you have something against black people?" I'm like, what? Like, no, I love black people. Like, well, you have a complaint that you pulled this person over because they was black. I said, "Are you I thought he was joking, just messing around with me. I was like, "Are you serious?" And he showed it to me. True story. It's like, wow. I said, "No, sir, I did." And then at that point, I was just like, whatever. But, and so that's one incident. Another thing is I had a lot of us say, wow, you know how the police treat us. Why did you want to become a police when you know how they treat us? Now it's like, well, if more of us would become the police, then maybe we would be treated better. Don't you think that makes sense? If you don't like the way the police is treating you, then you become the police and help make the change that you want to see. Be the change you want to see. Sometimes folks were mad I wore that vest, but I should have authentic, flawed, but blessed. So if you ask me again why you choose that path, I say to give back, to love, to learn, to laugh. To show little black lesbians you can carve your space with the badge on your chest and your pride on your face. So here's the purpose that sometimes ain't clear. To show up boldly despite the fear. And if you're out there wondering what you should be the example you wish to see. So like, subscribe, hit that bell, my friend. Remember your story don't need to pretend. Drop a comment, tell me what made you choose your lane. And let's keep lifting each other through sunshine and rain. If this story spoke to you, and if you've ever felt like you didn't belong, but showed up anyway, go ahead and hit that like button. Subscribe to join this community of bold hearts and beautiful minds. And drop me a comment telling me your story of stepping into spaces where you were never expected to shine. Because together we prove that representation isn't just powerful, it's necessary. Representation is so necessary. It's so necessary. It's so necessary. So represent. Go out there and represent. Whether you're wearing a uniform, used to wear the uniform, going to wear the uniform, know somebody in uniform. And if you see any minority, Hispanic, black, any police officer at all, respect them. I don't wish any ill will towards any police officer anywhere. And I truly mean that with the bottom of my heart. I mean them all well because they do, at the end of the day, put their lives in danger to help protect and serve others. So, me, now I don't know if I'm crazy or what, but this is a true story. I'm being vulnerable with y'all. Read um, Daring Greatly by Dr. Brene Brown. Daring Greatly by Dr. Brene Brown is a very good book. Talks about vulnerability. But now I used to be the popo. I used to be the popo. Yeah, played cops and robbers for 13 years. Uh, I'm no longer the popo anymore. God is good. Um, for reasons beyond my control, but God is good. Grateful. But I don't know if there's been a switch in my head or what. But now I get nervous when I see the popo. Like I said in my other video, it amazes me. I see people whenever they see the police, they be like, "What's going on? What happened? What's going on?" And I literally go the other way. I don't care what's going on. I don't want to know. I don't want. I literally want to go the other way. When I see the popo, I go the other way. A true story. If I'm about to go to a gas station, I've literally done this. I don't drive, but if I'm about to go to a gas station, something like that, and I see a police car pulling, take me to another gas station. They're like, why? It was going to take me to another gas station. That's all I say. And it's a good because I still respect if I happen to be in a place which I really go. I can't remember that. I go to church. When was the last time I had a doctor's appointment? I have a psychiatry appointment once a month. I can't remember. I can't remember. But yeah, so I went to my psychiatry appointment. Those are about the only two places I could think of that I've been last month. I didn't go nowhere, no. I can't remember. True story. I'm sorry. But then what was I talking about? Yeah, I don't know. I just go the other way. And I wish them the best. But I don't want to be involved. I don't want to know what's going on. Like, if y'all want to, that's good. Now, when it comes to cop shows, I don't mind watching them every now and then. I just don't like watching them with other human beings, especially other human beings who know that you used to be the police. They start asking questions. Is that really how it is? Is that true? And the whole time, I really don't care. And it's a sad, unfortunate truth. I'm like, I don't know if that's how it is. I don't know. I don't care. People do whatever they want to do. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if the detective violated his rights. And I don't know. I don't care. That's true. I feel. I don't know. Look, get your Georgia OCGA criminal law book and figure it out. I used to say all that. Now I'm like, okay, Frida, if you have the knowledge, if you have information, just share it. So I think I did a video on the speeding ticket. I think I did it. I did a video on something. Somebody got a ticket and sent me a copy of it, so I just did a video on it. And, so I hope that helps somebody. Thank you so much for liking. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for turning on the notification button. I really appreciate you for subscribing. The Jesus in me loves the Jesus in you. It's so easy to love. I am the evangelist of entertainment. This is a whosoever will zone. All are welcome here, especially if you're a gay, straight, crippled, or crazy. And if you're visiting us for the first time, please fill out your visitor's information card and put it in the chat so that I know who you are and where you come from. So the next time I'm on, I can thank you for joining us. And please subscribe and become a member. It's free. It's free to hit that subscribe button. So thank you so much. I appreciate every last one of you. Thank you for subscribing. I love you. I appreciate you. I thank God for you. Our hearts and minds are clear. Let's go and govern ourselves accordingly.